Back to the very last show match of the day, guys. It's the bonus show match, Hendralisk versus Moosegills, the ZvZ. It's spawning here in the top right corner of the map. He's currently down 1 in game number 2. It is the light blue Zerg, Hendralisk. And to the lower left, currently leading the series 1-0, vibrant in orange, it is Moosegills. Or Moosegills, depending on your point of view, depending how bad you are at English. So today we tried something a little bit different with these player cams, guys. It is anything but normal and anything but what we're used to trying on Base Rate TV, but I hope you guys have been enjoying it. It's kind of a different dynamic for me, watching some players celebrate. We had Arium really getting excited, Jim, the highs and the lows, and now this bonus match. Hendralisk, of course, kind of the stoic statue, and Moosegills, you can see some jubilance on his face when he won that game, but yeah, game number 2, not going to be easy. It's a best of 3 though, guys. Not a whole lot of crazy stuff going on, but it's a best of 3 for $50. So it's more than just a friendly match currently going on. And again, the reason we find ourselves on Derelict Watcher is not because it was loser's pick. Rifkin is just terrible, and he stripped the, I'm in God mode, I'm drunk with power. I said, forget it. We're just going to Derelict because I messed up on that last map. Hendralisk, by the way, as it turns out, hates Habitation Station. So I feel really bad about that. But, you know, we are where we are. Alright, so we saw these guys play very similar in the start of that last game. Sorry about that gross sound, by the way. I needed water so badly. We saw these players kind of play similar in that last game. It wasn't anything too crazy and absurd, but again, the smallest differences start snowballing hard. The third base for that gold really let Moosegills get a huge roach lead eventually. Not right away. It did pay off, but not until a little bit later. And Hendralisk, I think with no gold gimmicks on this map, he might find himself a little more comfortably well matched. But I gotta be honest, my fingers are crossed and I'm hoping for some Zergling aggression, because I've seen Hendralisk with some pretty good control, and Banelings versus Zerglings are always a lot of fun. But I guess for now, the key thing is to keep an eye on these gases. Moosegills has actually opted to play gasless for the time being. Typically you do this for 2 reasons. One is if you're worried a little bit of aggression early on through the Zerglings and Banelings I had mentioned, having a lot of Queens out and Spine Crawlers and a wall off are great ways to deal with this. Alternatively, too, it leads more towards Roaches, which, as we saw, he was very comfortable playing. Now, Derelict Watcher, again, is an older map, and we're not going to see this anytime again soon for most tournaments, but I always enjoyed Derelict. Honestly, there's not a lot of maps I think back to, I'm like, wow, you know what, that one had a lot of really good games on it. And the ones that did were kind of boring. I mean, if we're going to be honest, like Belshire Vestige, Frost, Habitation Station, these are all maps that get picked all the time, so they're a little bit redundant and not as interesting. But Derelict was a map that was often vetoed, and the odd time it wasn't, you always got like really entertaining games on it. And I was really happy that we brought this back into the show match, that no one was really upset or threw a fit about it being here. And I miss it, guys. I just miss it. That's what it boils down to. But we did get to see every single map today in that last series with Puck and Jim Rising, which was pretty cool. If this actually goes to game 3, I'll let these guys... You know what? No, screw it. I was going to say I'd let these guys player pick. But I'm going to still play God! I will choose as I've been messing up so far. Now, this has actually been pretty crazy long. This is coming up on 5 hours for these show matches. Not at all the time frame I had anticipated or budgeted for it. So, I hope Zombie Grub's ready to carry me in the Acer Team Story Cup tomorrow morning when we have Axiom versus Acer, because I'm going to be pretty pooped, I think. But that's okay. Like I said, we do it for the love of the game and for the love of these players. I'm really glad, even though the numbers weren't exactly phenomenal for this, 800 people tuning in right now still watching this best of 3. I couldn't be happier that we actually had some turnout for this. It was kind of my greatest fear as a broadcaster and organizer, that nobody tunes in to watch your events. But while this is going on, Hendralisk actually goes for a Baneling Nest this time. So he faked out a different build. He goes for the Baneling Nest. Moosegills gets... I'm not sure if he got psyched out by it. This Overlord could re-scout that out. But looks like Hendralisk will be looking to put on a little bit of aggression. Now with his own Carapace coming out, 2 big things come into play. Number 1, his Zerglings can survive Baneling hits if Moosegills had his own Banelings, which he doesn't. On top of this means he'll automatically win Zergling Wars. But with the Roachborn coming down so late and no Spine Crawler, I don't think he's going to be prepared for this. Although, fucking Henry. Sorry, I got excited about Banelings and he cancels it and goes for what looks to be Roaches probably instead. I don't know what you would cancel this for in lieu of, but you know, one thing he's actually really got pretty good control of is his Mutalisks. We haven't seen a whole lot of that, of course, recently, as his play's been focused more on the anti-Mutalisk builds that he was practicing for Scarlet. But that being said, if he were to do it himself, it's not something that would go too poorly. However, he doesn't have 4 gases and his layer's been started, so most likely this will just be sticking to roaches. The Carapace upgrade early on, really not going to come into great effect, sadly. If it comes down to Roach vs. Roach Wars, guys, it's going to be 1-1 versus 1, or 0-1 for Henry. Oh, sorry. I'm so done at this point. We got to go for StarCraft Monthly Finals this morning. And now we're doing this, and my brain's done. I'm sorry, guys. I'm not trying to complain. I'm not trying to be too negative. Like, I'm still excited to be here, but my body just wants to eat some gross food and go to sleep. Anyways, Roach is popping out here soon enough, but I don't think we're going to see anything too aggressive. Again, low amounts of roaches. Ooh, actually, these Lings managed to slip by, go to the main. They just get past that one roach. They want to go for the queen, of course, but Moosegills immediately puts it within the mineral lines. Pulls some drones preemptively to hold position if necessary. I like that. Not at all overreacting. Reacting actually quite perfectly to Hendralisk's little run by here. And is he even going to get a drone for this? No. Drones actually punch the Zerglings to death. Cool. No workers killed. Holding on really well. Who's in the cameras? Ask chat. Left side of the camera here. This is going to be Hendralisk, and this is going to be Moosegills on this side. But okay, 3 spine crawlers coming down. Typically, if you're worried about roaches, you'll put down a little bit more, but I don't think he's worried about Moosegills moving across the map so much as he is about just having those spine crawlers readily available. Because he doesn't know what's going to happen. Sadly, you know, throw away a lot of those Lings means you throw away a lot of your scouting information as well. My mind is telling me no, but my body is telling me yes. Sorry, I apologize. I gotta stop looking at chat. It's distracting me too much. I'm done. I'm donezo's at this point. Anyways, these spine crawlers, you know, 1 spine crawler is usually not that big of a deal. It adds a little bit of damage, but it doesn't have a lot of impact on the actual outcome of the fight. But 3 spine crawlers certainly does. And for Moosegills, with 22 roaches over 14 from Hendralisk, Hendralisk has to fight with these spines. If Moosegills can run past us or snipe them off early like this, it's going to go unfortunately for Hendralisk. But with Defender's advantage, combined with the fact that he just evened up the roach count and still 2 spine crawlers standing, Moosegills cannot push in a fight. And if he does, it's asking for suicidal death. He's going to have 2-2 upgrades now over top of Hendralisk. He's barely going to be on 1-1, which is a little unfortunate. And despite taking his third a little bit earlier than his opponent, and emphasis here goes on a little bit earlier, we have a Contaminate coming down. He did this last time too! This was kind of a cool move. For those who don't know how Contaminate affects a hatchery, it slows down larva production the same way it stops upgrades or production from like actual buildings of a Terran player. Larva can't produce while this is going on. And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, Injects also can't hatch at the same time. So this is, granted, only like 30 seconds, but it's still 30 seconds where no new larvae spawning, nothing's coming out of the hatchery, and this queen, well, she needs to go and inject. But Hendralisk is storming the middle of the map, and Moosegills is actually going for the burrow upgrade as well as tunneling claws. And this is more of a Korean style to play this, but unfortunately, I don't think it's going to come into effect. Hendralisk's numbers are a little too big right now, and Defender's advantage aside, and a queen put to the side, the numbers might just be a little too much. Upgrades are 1-1 for both players. This fight couldn't have hit better for Hendralisk, but even if he wins out this fight, it's only going to be just barely. I love the Zerglings being put on the front lines, though. These are going to add a little bit of DPS, but also going to soak the hits out of Moosegills, allowing Hendralisk to kind of snowball his roach count ahead of his opponent's 30 over 16 now. This is getting a little out of hand, and I don't think Moosegills is going to be able to handle this. He retreats back to a more defensive location, but Hendralisk still has just too many roaches. 32 over 16. He's catching the last couple that are kind of Anne Franken it up over here on the left side. Some roaches coming out of the main, but again, tunneling claws, burrow, level 2 upgrades. These are all things that are not complete, but if they were, they would have given his roaches a huge advantage. GG is going to be called, and Hendralisk will take game number 2, tying up the series 1-1 and sending us into game number 3.